Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. My name is Stephanie McQueen. For today's video, I'm going to be talking about foods that you want to avoid if you have an autoimmune disease. If you're new to our channel, welcome. Please consider hitting that subscribe button and click the little bell so you don't miss any of our new uploads. For those of you that don't know, I do have an autoimmune disease. Well, I was diagnosed with one several years back now. I did a video on it. Actually, that was probably one of my first videos. I will link it below, just telling my whole story. But briefly, I was in a lot of pain. I had chronic pain everywhere, all over my body. I didn't know what was going on. It was just hard for me to move, and so I went to a doctor, and then they sent me to a specialist, and I saw a rheumatologist, and naturally they just gave me a whole bunch of medications, and it never worked. I didn't get any better. I didn't feel any better, and at that time I was just kind of like, no way, I'm not dealing with this anymore. I can't live like this. This is too much on me. I'm too young at that point. I was 21, and I'm almost 28 now. So I was just definitely like, no, I feel like I'm gonna die, and I'm only 21. So I was like, there has to be another way to cure this. There has to be, an alternative other than medication, because that was only making me feel worse and it wasn't doing anything. So I was just blessed, and I got lucky, and I found a naturopath who introduced me to a healthy diet and eating the correct foods. And ever since then, I have just been leaps and bounds better, just so much better. But I am human, and sometimes I do eat things that aren't the best for me, and I can feel it pretty much immediately. So I try to avoid all of that, but I just wanted to do a video on foods that you should avoid if you do have an autoimmune disease, and things that I have been avoiding for the past couple, 2 years now. So one food that you are gonna wanna cut out is sugar, white sugar, and then all of the other fake processed sugars. They are so bad for you, and sugar is just hidden in everything with multiple names. Definitely the white refined sugar is really bad for you, and it is highly addictive, and once you eat it, then your body is just gonna want more and more of these sugars. So I highly suggest kicking out the white sugar. I don't use white sugar at all. I actually use organic brown sugar, and that has tested very well for me, and my body tolerates that. I don't eat a lot of it, but just if I am baking, or I put it in my coffee sometimes, not really anymore, but I definitely suggest getting rid of white sugar. Another thing you're gonna wanna get rid of is gluten. Back then, gluten or wheat products, that used to be okay. But now that there's so much supply and demand, that a lot of it is becoming genetically modified. So they're just adding gluten into everything and adding it as these fillers to foods. People are having a hard time breaking down gluten and processing it. I think that's why a lot of people are developing celiac disease and a lot of other autoimmune diseases, and it's causing leaky gut because people just don't know how to process this gluten that we have today that's in our food. So I would definitely suggest getting rid of gluten. Another food you're gonna want to cut out is vegetable oils. The highly processed oils like that, like canola oil, vegetable oil, soy oil, those are just very, very bad for you, and they really have no health benefits at all. They're just basically fake processed oils. And vegetable oil is really high in omega-6s, and that just throws off your balance of omega-3s. Yeah, it just makes things all bad. It's really just not healthy for you. So I don't use that stuff ever. Actually, I haven't used it in many, many years. Another thing you want to get rid of is the refined carbs. Like white rice and things like that. It's just really not good for you either, just because that all turns into sugar as well, and that can be really inflammatory to your body. Another thing I would cut out is cow's dairy. Cow's dairy is so bad for you because nowadays it comes from cows that have been treated with hormones, just the RBST, and a lot of chemicals and things like that, just so that we can produce more milk and things like that faster. And all those chemicals and hormones are just not healthy for our body. However, if you are going to have cow's dairy, and what I eat and what works really well for me as far as cheeses and butter is grass-fed cow's dairy. So what I use is a butter and cheese called Kerrygold cheese, and so it comes from grass-fed cows, and it's imported from Ireland, and it actually is really delicious. But if you are going to have dairy, grass-fed dairy, or stick to like goat cheeses and things like that. And then as far as milk goes, I do not drink cow's milk. I do almond milk, coconut milk, hemp milk, and those are so much better for you, and they have a lot of better ingredients for you, and omega-3s and things like that, especially in the hemp milk. Another thing that you should avoid or be really careful, which is kind of on the same line as grass-fed dairy, is you're going to want to be eating grass-fed meats. I would not eat regular meats unless it is grass-fed, because more than likely the meats you're eating are from animals that have been treated, again, with all kinds of chemicals and hormones and everything to fatten them up so that we can have more of them. So if you are gonna have like red meats and chickens and things like that, I would definitely go organic and grass-fed, and stay away from the fake processed meats, because those are really terrible and they cause a terrible inflammation response in your body. Another thing I would also avoid is just the artificial, just chemicals and processed packaged foods. Those basically have no life in them. Just if they have a long shelf life and they're in a package, it's more than likely not good for you and not something that you want to be eating. And along that line is you want to avoid foods that have MSG in it. MSG is really harmful. MSG is in like chips, soy sauce, and things like that. And a lot of this stuff is just chemicals and additives and things that our body doesn't know how to process and we cannot tolerate. I would also stay away from sodas. Sodas have a lot of negative ingredients and chemicals in it as well, and would definitely avoid those at all costs. And that is all that I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to like, subscribe, comment. If you have any questions, leave them down below, or follow me on Instagram. You can DM me on there and I will answer your questions. But I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of things that I eat and things that I have avoided just to heal my body from my autoimmune disease, and just things that just really aren't good for it and was leaving me feeling really crappy. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.